ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਕੈਥਰੀਨ ਸੈਸ ਨਾਲ। ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਲਾਇਰ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਆਏ ਬਗੈਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਕੇ ਜੋ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡਸ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਫੋਰਨ ਵਰਕਰਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਲਿਆਂਦੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਕੀ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਲੈ ਸਕਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। Let's welcome Catherine Sass. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Harpreet.
Thank you. So let's today talk about the temporary foreign workers, because that's the latest trend now. People are finding it difficult to come here in the skilled category because time frame is too long, and now skilled category, so I'm sorry, this temporary foreign workers are much in demand. So if you can take us into this journey of as to how the changes have been brought and what all changes are in effect today.
The changes, I think, have been that there really is a better program for people who've come to work in Canada to become permanent residents. The historical trend was that you were sitting back in India and you said to yourself, I think I'd like to immigrate to Canada, and then you put an application together. That has become more difficult and more difficult over the years. But there's been an increase in the amount of workers that we bring on a temporary basis, and then an introduction of programs that say, once you're here, we're going to let you stay.
Right.
There's also been quite a lot of media attention about our workers in the news in the last few months. There have been some pretty high-profile cases about the Chinese mine workers up in northern BC.
Yep.
Then Royal Bank of Canada decided to bring in some foreign workers to get trained for people that they were going to let go. And then we also had some illegal workers that on different construction sites that the CBSA conducted a raid on. So that's really brought the issue of foreign workers very, very current on people's tongues.
Right.
So as a reaction to some of this, the government decided to suspend a certain portion of the temporary foreign worker program, and that was called the Accelerated Labour Market Opinion, which I think is an overreaction and, quite frankly, unnecessary. But there's always this push and pull between why are we bringing foreign workers when there are people that are unemployed in Canada?
Right.
And the people that are unemployed in Canada don't necessarily have the skills and aren't willing to obtain the skills that are necessary for the demands that are required at the time at hand.
Right.
So when these kinds of things become public, I spend a lot of time explaining it's not easy to bring a worker to Canada. You may think that there are a lot of temporary foreign workers. The demographics will tell you and have told you for many years that we are short of people, and we continue to be short of people. So if there are people that are in Canada that are unemployed, then it behooves them to try and get skills and training in those areas to be able to be employed.
Right.
But as an employer, if you want to bring somebody over, I'm having to work with this right now. I've got a company that's trying to bring people into Fort McMurray. And as pretty much everybody in Canada knows, Fort McMurray is dying for people.
Yeah.
And they say, well, we've got these Americans that we want to bring in, we want to bring them in now. I said, you can't. There's no mechanism for that. You
Right.
have to advertise for this. Advertising must be a minimum of 2 weeks, and probably it should be 3 or 4. And then when we submit that application for you to get this labor market opinion, it's going to take 10 to 12 weeks.
Right.
3 months
Right.
to get that. Then we apply for the work permit. Now, if it takes an employer 3 or 3.5 months with the advertising to get the labor market opinion, then they have to apply for the work permit. Not such a big problem if you're from the United States and you don't need a visa. But when you're submitting applications to Delhi or Chandigarh, it's taking several months, and
Right.
there's a very high rate of refusal. So it's difficult to bring somebody in as a temporary foreign worker, which I think is one of the reasons there's such a keen focus on what's happening with the Canada-India trade negotiations to
Right.
see what that's going to bring in the future.
Okay, now the question that arises is that earlier the immigration trends were different, and now the focus is on these temporary foreign workers. But when these kind of people are brought over here, what do you think, with your experience in being an immigration lawyer, that loyalty, can that be found? Don't you think that these people who are coming over here, their main motive is to make money and then go back? And whereas a person who has been here for a long time, or who has come here as a permanent resident, his loyalty is going to be towards the country, and he's going to think for the country, even though people, as we see many times, we don't find that kind of thinking. But just bringing temporary foreign workers, is it a solution?
I think it is a solution, and certainly our Canadian Experience Class application process, as well as the International Student Program process and the provincial nominee programs, would support that. People that come over and work here,
Right.
I haven't done a statistical analysis of this, but if I were to go through my own existing client base, I would say there's probably a 60 to 70%, maybe higher rate of people who choose to stay here.
Right.
Most people, once they get here and they live here and they get settled, they want to stay.
Right.
Not all.
So they have there's a criteria whereby they can apply for PR.
There are many different options for them to do that. One
Right.
is
And we will talk in details about how they can apply for this. But before that, to bring them here, let's talk a little bit
well,
about that.
that is probably the biggest challenge because the question is, how do you connect with an employer?
Right.
Employers are pretty resourceful, and when they can't find people locally, they tend to go elsewhere. And if you're of Indian origin, you're going to go to your backyard, or where you're familiar with, you're going to go
Right.
back to India and try and bring people over to work within your businesses. So I do see a lot of that. I assist a lot of business people to bring people from their home
Right.
countries to work in their businesses. The more difficult question is, how does the individual overseas connect with a Canadian employer? And that's a very difficult thing. I mean, that's where the internet is beautiful. If you can apply online, you can send resumes to companies, but you can work with a recruiter, you can work with an advertising or a headhunting agency and try and find a placement for people that are looking for workers.
Right. You had mentioned about the Chinese workers, and there was a lot of hue and cry, and there was a federal court challenge to it. What was the result of that?
Well, the unions brought on this challenge, and it was dismissed as being unwarranted. I was actually asked about that. What was the evidence that you were looking to see? I was actually very surprised by that court challenge, knowing what I know about the labor market opinion process and how long it takes, and the evidence that you have to provide. It's not likely that somebody would just let this slide by to get these workers in. Furthermore, the evidence that I saw in the judgment was that all the supervisors were local people and had to be able to speak English. So some of the stuff that came out in the media wasn't actually reflected in the factual basis to the case.
Right.
So I really wasn't surprised that the case was dismissed because
Right.
it's a difficult process.
Right. And as you said, it's not an easy process as you think that you can just bring in somebody. So according to the new system which has been established now, according to you, what needs to be changed or improved?
Oh, I think you need to streamline some things. I mean, I would say about 7 or 8 years ago, and we still have these laws in place, we still have these policies in place to bring people under what we called exceptions. For example, the intercompany transferee is an exception. The NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, is an exception. We have
Right.
trade agreements with the United States, Mexico, Chile, Colombia, and Peru. Those are the only 5 countries that we presently have trade agreements that provide for the exchange of services. We're negotiating more than 10 current agreements. Having those brought in would be terrific because it would streamline the ability to bring in workers, and
Right.
you can set the sectors that you want. The trick about allowing workers in is, how do you match the need in a particular sector to the demand to facilitate that, such
Right.
that you're not looking at a 6 or 7 month process to try and bring somebody in. If I tell an employer you're going to look at 6 or 7 months to bring somebody, they just roll their eyes and pull out their hair.
That's right. Okay, towards the end, we know there are lots of illegal people over here in Canada. Who would you count as responsible, the employers or the employees?
That's a really good question. I mean, obviously, as an employee, you shouldn't be working illegally. You know, just like you shouldn't tell a lie, and honesty is the best policy. You know that you're supposed to do things by the book. But
Right.
as we said before, the world is not a perfect place, and sometimes people have to do things to support themselves or to provide for themselves, and sometimes they are tempted by employers. But employers are here to stay. Okay, they are in our country,
Right.
and they're supposed to play by the rules. Sadly, the way the process works, and the case that we saw recently was with CBSA taking some raids on a number of construction sites.
Yeah.
Once it hits the media, it's a very effective tool, because if you've got if you're watching that program and you see, oh my goodness, this could happen to me, you're making sure you have no illegal workers
Right.
in your kitchens, on your construction sites, in your hotels, wherever. They're going to be gone.
Right.
And the persons concerned are removed from Canada, and it's over for them. It takes a lot of work to go after an employer. It
Right.
really does. And you're looking at a court process. I think, from my perspective, that the government needs to take that on, at least to make an example of some of the people that are doing that,
Right.
because it really is a 2-part process. You can't employ illegal workers if the employer doesn't let them there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for this
Thank you so
information.
much.
Thank you.